huge warning, guys. This is a very, very disturbing story. Like, sick to my stomach disturbing, but I say it because it needs to be talked about. This is just one example of why I'm outspoken against the Pentecostals. We are going to be covering the death of the 3-year-old little girl. Her name was Airly Naomi Proctor. Tragically, her life was ended after an attempted exorcism at a Pentecostal church. I have been outspoken against the charismatic movement and the dangers of Pentecostalism, and this is just one of the many tragedies that I have heard and come across in my time in ministry. This Pentecostal church was in San Jose, California. On September 24th at 6:30 p.m., her mother, Claudia Hernandez, brought her to this Pentecostal church, and she was claiming that her daughter had been possessed by evil spirits. Why, you ask? Because her 3-year-old daughter was waking up in the middle of the night, crying and screaming. Is that not just about every child? When I hear a 3-year-old girl and I hear crying and screaming in the middle of the night, of course we want to comfort her, but I don't see it as something where I would take it to the extreme of demonic possession. Because you also have to ask, how did a 3-year-old girl even get possessed? Because I personally don't believe one can be possessed without them opening the channels for the possession to take place. I don't think a 3-year-old girl could open up the channels to be possessed. This is where it gets really bad, guys. Not only did the mother take her, but also the uncle. The 3 people in attendance were the mother, the uncle, and this church leader. This was at 6:30 p.m. This is according to the police report. Hernandez tried to stick her finger down the victim's throat and squeeze the victim's neck to induce vomiting in order to cast out the demon. She also attempted to open Proctor's mouth with her hand. When the church leader arrived at the church to assist Hernandez and her brother in praying over the girl, the 3 of them reportedly took turns holding the child down by her neck, abdomen, and legs to induce vomiting until Proctor vomited a clear purple liquid. Sorry, I'm getting angry. The incident left the girl with injuries around her eyes, throat, neck, and chest. Wow. It definitely doesn't get easier reading. Hernandez called the police around 8:12 p.m. and reported that her daughter died at the church sometime between 6 and 6:30 p.m. following the exorcism. It looks like Hernandez was arrested in January. Her last meal given before her death, it was a 6-ounce glass of water, which was given to her the night before. She had been deprived of food and water all the way until 6 p.m. that night. I hope these people are prosecuted to the fullest extent. The pastor said that they were trying to follow biblical instructions in casting out the demon. And they said, if you read the Bible, you'll see Jesus cast away demons and made sick people healthy again. It's not when I want to do it. It's when God, in his will, wants to heal a person. The preacher is like an instrument of God. What we do is what God says. Show me one account in the Bible where a demon is cast out of somebody and the person is convulsing, throwing up, screaming, wailing. You won't find it. And what was Jesus doing? He wasn't holding anyone down by the neck, the abdominal, forcing his fingers into their mouth. No, he spoke with the authority of God. This is a statement from her mother. I could sit here and be negative, be sad about the whole situation that she passed away, but it's like there is no point because it is what it is. It's many reasons why God took her. What if something would have happened to her? What if she would have had a sickness? It is what it is. I gotta be positive about this situation. Like at least she's not suffering. That's what I'm thankful for. That she's not gonna grow up in that world we live in. I don't want to hear her pathetic excuse of an explanation to kill a 3-year-old girl in the name of Jesus. Absolutely not. Absolutely vile. I cannot stand the Pentecostal movement. There's so much demonic activity in it. It needs to be spoken out against. It needs to be stopped. We have to sometimes take a step back and look at things through a spiritual perspective. And it's really hard when you're in this flesh. It's really, really hard, especially in moments like this. I feel sick. I feel absolutely sick. When you guys hear me speaking strongly against the charismatic movement and Pentecostals, and when I speak out against movements like Hillsong, Elevation, Bethel, these are the type of stories I have in mind when I'm speaking against these movements. Thank you so much to my generous patrons who help me do this full time. If you'd like to help me do this full time, there is a PayPal donation link in the description, or consider becoming a Patreon today. For only $5 a month, you can gain access to weekly Patreon only streams and posts, all my research notes, and all your comments will be prioritized and answered first. Higher tiers receive free Revivalists for Christ merch, a shout out in all videos, early access to content, and even can decide what content I post on the channel. There is much, much more, so consider becoming a Patreon today by heading over to patreon.com/revivalistforchrist. If you're not sure that you're going to heaven, be sure to click the video on the left or click on the right for more great content. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel to help equip you, the 21st century Christian, in the field of apologetics and evangelism, by clicking on the channel logo in the middle.